Police in North Carolina get a smart summon demo. Gigafactory 3 looks to be churning out cars soon. Service loaners may have a new standard feature soon. And Tesla's Q3 earnings call has a date. This is Tesla Tidbits episode number 553 for October 11th, 2019. This show is sponsored by my supporter Richard. If you're in the market for a new Tesla, please consider using his referral code. Ask your salesperson to use code Richard174 or go direct to the web link ts.la/Richard174 and pick up a 1,000-mile supercharging credit for your new vehicle. We start our way into the weekend with a question that's been on the mind of many owners lately, and that is, if you're using Smart Summon and there's an incident, who is at fault for the incident? Now, I want to caveat this by saying that this answer is absolutely going to vary by state. But at least in North Carolina, we learned via Teslarati that Brian from I1 Tesla has some answers. Brian ran across some officers that were at a meet and greet event in his area and gave them a tour of the car, the Smart Summon feature, and then asked them about the legalities of any accident while using the feature. His specific question was, quote, "If I'm not in the car, what if someone backs out into the car and hits my car, even though I'm controlling it?" End quote. One of the officers answered saying, quote, "Well, in North Carolina, we do an accident report and we don't determine who is at fault, just contributing circumstances. So if that vehicle is coming toward you and yes, you are in control of it, then that vehicle backs out, then it is improper backing on their part. So that would be on them." End quote. Now, I have to think that this will be the case in most states, but definitely track down some of your own law enforcement to verify if you have any worries about the potential for liability. Next up, Autoblog reports that Tesla will begin production of Model 3 at Gigafactory 3 before October ends. An anonymous source at the factory told Reuters, quote, "We aim to start some production in October, but the actual production volume depends on many factors, including car orders we received, performance of newly hired workers, supply chain, and so on." End quote. Clearly, this will not be full production just yet, but I suspect that the factory will be at expected production levels before the year is out. We now turn to my Twitter feed for the next story, as Tesla owners Silicon Valley pinged Elon to say, quote, "Hey, at Elon Musk, can you enable autopilot on loaner vehicles, especially if I am an FSD owner?" End quote. Elon responded saying, quote, "Thanks for mentioning, should be enabled on all loaner cars." End quote. Now, this is a funny one on multiple levels. One, not all service centers even have service loaners. Secondly, despite a proclamation that not long ago all loaners that did exist would be performance cars, that definitely never happened. In a similar vein as that, when Alex Gayer mentioned that non-AP cars were still in the loaner fleet, Elon said, quote, "Will remove," end quote. This one is where I'm using a healthy dose of my skepticism to see if it comes about, but I certainly wouldn't hold my breath on this one, folks. Lastly this week, Tesla Investor Relations announced this week that Tesla's Q3 earnings call will be held on October 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time. This is one of the fastest turnarounds of Tesla earnings that I can remember since starting to follow the company at this level. Will it be because they have something to brag about, or because they want to get the bad news out of the way quickly in the fourth quarter? I'll be ready with the pertinent sound bites and information from the earnings call and investor letter. Don't miss it. That's it for today's show. Thanks to all my patrons supporting the show at patreon.com/Tesla Tidbits. And as always, a special shout out to all the super patrons supporting the show at the $10 plus level. They are Drew Schuyler, Ryan Scarborough, Lee Sweet, William Henry Crew III, Dorian Steve Guberman, Joey Boots, Ralph and Cheryl Waterhouse, Adam Raymer Brown, Megawatt Photovoltaic Development, Todd Sullivan, Mitch Long, Zortec LED Canada, Morven Ogg, Blake Thompson, Raymond and Deborah Malkowitz, T Sportline, Travis and Cheyenne Rush, Chris Hovis, Craig Murphy, Vicky Kirk, Ricky Johnston, Bien Concepcion, Nathan Garza, Paul Gona, Ed Patterman, and Sunil Joseph. If you have feedback for me, the best way to be heard is to tweet at Tesla Tidbits and use the hashtag AskTeslaTidbits if you'd like your question to be considered for the show. Until next time, keep it charged and hit the road.